Warning, this video contains murder, rape, and other sensitive topics. Viewer discretion is advised. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sirens Lagoon. I'm Ashley Marie, and we have a doozy. So if you love makeup and you love paranormal, true story, crime, and murder, and all that good stuff, this is for you, okay? So sit back, relax, enjoy your popcorn, and let's take a dive into the rabbit's hole. I have always been a fan of spooky, abnormal, true stories. I mean, who doesn't enjoy reading on scary stories, especially urban legends? Every town has an urban legend. The abandoned house at the end of the street that's haunted. The ghost girl seen on the side of the certain back road. Unexplained lights over your city or your lake. For me, urban legend stories right here are in my backyard, like literally. My home is in Florida, and there is a place in Port St. Lucie that is true crime and haunted. We're going to talk about the infamous Oak Hammock Park, which is also known as the Devil's Tree. We all seen it all, right? I know I have. And, well, not exactly. You see, all these stories revolve around a single oak tree. And it's found in the belly of this particular park. And I just love how dark it gets every time I say something about it. This seemingly flab tree adopted its name from its dark past. Now, this dark past that we have is kind of creepy, if you ask me. The legend and completely untrue story went something like this. Long ago, a girl went into the woods at night. Two men, described in some versions as gang members or satanics, raped her, killed her, and hung her body from one of the tree's largest branches, to be found by police. More rumors escalated about after the murder. Satanic rituals were done at this very tree, including, wait for it, burning the tree, devil worshipping, and animal sacrifices. If you didn't hear my disclaimer at the beginning, I'm sorry. However, this was not the case, and this is how the true story really went. So let's take a dive in that rabbit hole, shall we? Let's do that. So I found more reports on this, and the facts are real, and this case is real, and this place is actually really haunted. And, well, if you don't believe me, then you can look it up yourself now, because back then, nobody had internet. No one had a computer or was access to one, you know? Yeah, back then is what I'm getting at. And this case is pretty effed up, I must say. And It didn't keep me awake at night, but, you know. The true crime behind it is so shocking. So, who wants to visit this park with me? You know, we can take a trip together. We can do this. We can make it work. Hang on a minute. I gotta sneeze. Sorry about that. My allergies have been like acting up all morning. I can feel another sneeze coming on. So my nose is going to be stuffy / runny. I'm going to be doing that a lot. I can feel the itchiness in my eyes as it is, and you can hear it in my nose. I hate Florida. I really do. We're surrounded by oak trees. Yeah. So this infamous oak hammock park. Now we all know I'm going to brutalize every phrase and pronunciations of the things, but I'm assuming this is called Hammock Park, Oak Hammock Park, and it's now Oak Hammock Neighborhood Park. Looks like every other park, right? You got like, the park has trails passing through the playground. So there's a little playground now. Excuse me. Some of these trails were something out of a horror film by looking at these pictures, because the surrounding trees really close in on the trails to make them virtually a darkened tunnel, as you can see here. It's, you dare to go in that? I give you $1 if you do. I don't have $1 on me. So, this tree is massive oak. Towers over everything, okay? The width of this oak versus any other oak tree in Florida is pretty damn big, and these oak trees do get massive. I have a few of them around my house, and in front of my, in front, well, on the side, they do get massive, and not safe during a storm. Now, in case you're wondering what I'm using, I will list everything in the description box below. I'm not going to name off every little thing that I'm using. So, but today's look, my daughter, it's inspired by my daughter. She told me what she wanted me to do, and it's kind of like of a brownish red type idea. So, excuse me, that was my stomach. So, okay, now we talked about how massive these oak trees can get. Now, oak trees are very old. Live oaks can live for well over 60 years, often reaching about 250 to 500 years in good growing locations. Maturity is reached by 75 years. Give you some facts about trees, in case you didn't care to wonder. Anyways, so this tree is pretty much bigger than the one in my backyard or the side of the house. Reading on this story feels out of place to me, and it is haunting. And that some reports say you will find yourself just staring at it. And there's also some reports where you feel like you're being watched. Seeing a closer look of that. It's crazy, huh? This pic doesn't look like, well, if you look closely to it, you can see the pentagrams carved into it. I mean, at first I had to look really, really closely at it. Like, I don't see it And then when I had to zoom in on a picture, like crop it, you can see the pentagram. I mean, there ain't no circle around it, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah. In some pictures there is a structure that's about 20 yards off the trail. It's probably like an old bathroom, and there's trash showing signs of people might be staying there. Be careful when you visit places like this, because that's a red flag to me, and it indicates that there might be still around, regardless if they're homeless, could be satanic worshipers. You just never know. You gotta be, I wouldn't go alone, okay? I know you can go look at these places during the day, but if you want to do some EVP stuff at night, this tree. So, I wouldn't hang around this place that has the remains of stuff that looks like it's being occupied by people, because this is where my research began behind this urban legend, and there is the truth, and here is the truth. There were very real victims in this true crime, and the names of these two girls is Susan Place, which is 17 years old, and her friend Georgia Jessup. Now this is where I might fuck up some names, and I'm sorry, and she is 16 years old. And this happened, they were killed in 1972. Well, they were killed in 1972, yeah, because there was like two different dates, but in April 1973, he did another killing on two other women, but they escaped. So yeah, so in 1972, their remains were burned or buried in Oak Hammock Park by their killer, but I found that their remains were discovered in Hutchins Island. It's a little over 20 miles from where the tree sits. Now there are reports of there were two trees. Remember that? Remember how I said there was two trees? Well, this tree is located in Hutchins Park, or Hutchins Island. And this is where, I'm not going to go off into, well, this is where the dude lived. So I'm assuming that's where the real tree is at, and the other tree is in Hammock Park. But I don't know. You might walk on past that, but right. So there have been missing. Now these girls have been missing since late September. It's so sad that the bodies of both victims were found 8 months after the murder. Now, I'm assuming back then they didn't have, this was in the 70s, so they didn't really have, they didn't have really good detectives. So their bodies were found 8 months later. That's kind of messed up, but they were found by a father and son looking for aluminum cans, and they came across the decomposed and dismembered bodies poking through the burial site, and suspicion quickly fell upon a deputy for the Martin County Sheriff's Office. The killer was, I hope I'm saying his name right, Gerald John Schaefer. Now, I've heard of him because many people have been talking about him, like Bailey Sarian. She does true crime, murder, mystery, makeup Mondays, and she has talked about him before, but she's only talked about the true crime. I'm not talking about just the true crime because everyone has done it. I'm going to be talking about the paranormal of it, but there's always, what makes it true is because there was a crime involved that makes these horror that makes these paranormal ghost sightings actually true. This dude was a piece of work, let me tell you. Now, Schaefer is believed to be linked to the deaths of at least 26 girls and women. So about like 30 from what I've researched. Oh, this dude's a pig. He's such a pig. He deserved what he got. He really, I mean, he did. He deserved it. He's so rotten. Just because you're a cop, you know, you think you get to have like all that power, and such a pig. Such a pig. Ugh. It's believed that he lured women with his badge, then proceed to tie them to a tree. This is where he killed them, violated them, that was my stomach, and disposed of their bodies. He had committed a crime similar to this in 1972. Now, again, in 1973, it was 2 women that got away. The ones in 1972, they did not make it. Remember Susan and her best friend. So yeah, 2 teens were picked up hitchhiking, had been bound, threatened physically and sexually, and left hanging from a tree on Hutchins Island. They had escaped. These girls, brave. Good job. Okay, they escaped. Dude, there's like so many browns. I wish Clarissa was like, you know, like, babe, do you want me to go dark? Because I got so many browns here, love. So many. Should I surprise you? I think I should. Got you, boo. I got you. I don't know what to do. She said brownish red. It's like, dude, do you know? I need to. I'm going to do a. But I need to find a transition shade. It has to be lighter than. Okay. Anyways, let me use my crease brush. So yeah, these girls escaped. And reason why, this sick man, because he was called on his police radio, and after they made their way to the police station, the very same station that this douchebag worked at, he claimed he had done, at least he fessed up to it. At least he said, yep, I did this. And this is what I did. At least he did that. This is his quote, I've done it all to scare them and to never hitchhike again, unquote. This dumbass was, convicted and served his time for that attack. So, just 2 months before the discovered murder of Place in Jessup, Schaefer abducted Nancy Trotter and Paula Sue Wells in his squad car. At the time where there were no laws against hitchhiking, now I'm assuming this was back again, this was in the 70s. There was no laws against that, and like now, if you pick up a hitchhiker, that's, you're going to get in trouble for that. And I never picked up a hitchhiker, and I never will, because you never know. But, I don't even like going to certain places alone by myself at night. Because, There's just crazy people out, especially at night. It's like the normal people. I'm not normal, but you know what I mean. It's just not, it's not, I don't go anywhere alone. I really don't. If I go somewhere, my husband's going with me. No one's going to mess with me at all because he's a big dude. And yeah, good luck with that. I'm gonna laugh at you. So knowing that they escaped, Schaefer went back to his sheriff and reportedly told him, and I quote, "I have done something foolish. You're going to be mad at me." Unquote. Which led to his arrest, his removal from the force, and eventually discovered of place and Jessup's bodies. Now, Arthur Keith Ramon, okay, anyway, is an expert on the subject. He spoke to CBS 12 and described a detective who compared Schaefer to infamous serial killer Ted Bundy and said, and I quote, "He, Schaefer, made Ted Bundy look like a Boy Scout." Unquote. Mr. Schaefer was 48 years old. Now, here's the kicker of this story. I'm going to use BB cream instead of foundation. No, that wasn't the kicker. Apparently, you can tell that it looks like I put on foundation and all that stuff, but I didn't. Yeah. So, Schaefer was killed in prison by a fellow inmate. There were conflicting reports behind the motivation, but one thing is confirmed was that he was stabbed to death multiple times in the face. I'm laughing because it's not funny. It's just, wow, that's kind of brutal. Another weird curveball to the story, there might be two trees. Now, I did say that if you were listening. The one other people would like to mix up the real oak tree where they had found the two bodies of Susan and Georgia, meaning y'all could have walked by this tree and you wouldn't have known it. So I found it interesting that I have heard about this story. I have. Nothing new to me. I've watched it on paranormal shows with Zach Bagans and his crew with Ghost Adventures. There's these two twins that I follow on YouTube. They're called Paranormal Twins. And they went to this tree, but they took a female with, and she was very uncomfortable because, again, the dude does not like women. Obviously, he murdered over like 30 women within a short time span. So, and I have heard this story through Bailey Sarian, but she didn't tell about the paranormal part. She told about the true crime, and she gave out more information than I did. I mean, I found what I could find, but just seeing this on paranormal shows and hearing about the urban legend is a true story, and is hit close to home because literally it's like in my backyard. I mean, yeah. Back then, we didn't have internet access to research, this story of a killer cop was perceived by many as the works of a cult or gang members, you know. This dude killed over 30 women. I had a text message. In a short time span in the late 60s and early 70s, before being caught, convicted, and actually killed by a fellow inmate. So, get this, his friends in jail included Ted Bundy and Otis Toole, 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 that later of whom was suspected of setting up Schaefer's death. They were suspected of setting it up. Damn. Now, y'all should know who Ted Bundy is, do you? Do you know who Ted Bundy is? I do. He's nasty. Ugh. But yeah, him and someone else were speculated. Rumors went around saying that they are the ones that, set it all up. I would have. I mean, no, I wouldn't have, but if I was being talked about like that, and I was a dude, and I was a serial killer, well, I think Ted Bundy, didn't he eat women? No, he killed women, but just saying that it was like cakewalk, or it's pretty messed up. But yeah, his habit of physically and psychologically torturing his victims, not his women. Other details have added to the legend in the years since the murders. Throughout the woods, near trees that are ruins of a house, there's ruins of, throughout the woods, near trees, are these ruins of houses that have been torn down, forgotten, let's just leave them there, abandoned places, and, well, it is rumored that the place in the area led to the story, one of those was Schaefer's house. It was the location where the evidence was found. The tree has been set on fire several times, but instead of catching and burning down, odd marks like monsters and demons have formed in the woods. Instead of one of the most persistent legends about the tree is that if you take a piece of the bark, bad things would happen to you. Now, here's the paranormal aspect of this. This tree is located in a corner of Oak Hammock Park in Port Lucie, Florida. It has been deeply rooted in the area since before there was even a park. It's sprawling trees with branches that seemed intent on trying to grow things, have a massive tree trunk that are connected to it. This tree is freaking huge. From everything that I have read and all this research that I have read, this tree is huge, and there's two, and you can just walk right by the real one and you just don't even know it. But it is seen off from the main area of the park on a path between the swing sets and a canal. Schaefer is rumored to have carried the two women he killed. If you were walking, you might even ignore it. It's sorry about that, how the video just up and randomly stopped because I had a phone call, and it's about my dentist appointment tomorrow. Hopefully I get the tooth pulled. But anyways, since I was rudely interrupted, They're on a path between the swing sets and a canal. Schaefer is rumored to have carried the two women he killed. If you were walking, you might even ignore it if you were not for its intimidating size among the smaller trees that is surrounding it and the odd darkened shapes on the trunk, as if someone had tried to burn the tree, which appeared on all sides. The tree acts as a sort of touchstone for the darkness that is said to lurk in the area. Black figures have been spotted near the tree, and at night, the rumors of folklore say they are not all human. There have been reports of rituals being held here, and men with robes. I really like this highlighter. It's kind of gold. There's men wearing robes wandering the woods nearby and near the great oak. Now, but some have also claimed to see what they describe as people made of black smoke. That's also known as shadow people. Ooh, this goes perfect with my look. Oh my god. Isn't it pretty? I'm already done with the look, but I'm just touching up, so yeah, Corvus. For real. So, these figures sometimes referred to as shadow people, or shadow men, they're somewhat common in the areas where there is heightened paranormal activity, which this has heightened it, like literally. You got this evil guy that murdered women, and of course and then you got devil worshippers coming in on top of that, so yeah, it's not gonna be good at all. Just be careful. Another theory, the one that spreads most by those who seen or heard the stories and are not as familiar with ghost TV shows, is that these are demons. Are these demons or dark spirits who are drawn to the forest to feed on the negative energy that is there? Now, that's a good question. I'm sure it didn't help, especially with the devil worshipping. That doesn't help either. So, yeah. Gotta put that on very carefully. This is called Hustle and Glow. There we are. And it is really pretty. Ooh. I mean, it goes good with the brown. I like it. Thank you, Clarissa, for inspiring this look today. Besides inspiration by her, it's also inspiration by Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's. No, I'm not sponsored by him, but I'm inspired by it. Anyway. So, it is no wonder that all these years later that the spot in one of his crimes should take a life on its own. You got unfolded as one of the most notorious haunted locations in Florida. So, do you have a town or an urban Does your town have an urban legend? Comment below. Share your hometown's legend, and if there was any truth behind it. I'd like to know. I'm interested. Sometimes the truth behind urban legends is a lot scarier than ghosts and goblins. Hope you like today's look, because I kind of am obsessed with it. And I hope you enjoyed today's story. It was a doozy. If you want to know more about any haunted locations in Florida, or if you want me to check out your area, let me know. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make good choices. Don't do something I wouldn't do. Don't go looking for trouble, because it will go find you. And there would be no good outcome of that. So be safe. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you for joining me. Bye. See you guys later.